The objective for today's lesson is to know how to write two-step equations for word problems. There is a difference between figuring out the answer to a problem and being able to translate the problem into a mathematical sentence, which is called equation. So let's look at the first problem. It costs $8 to buy a membership to a video store, and it costs $5 to rent each movie. If Mr. Smith joined the video store, meaning he bought the membership, rented some movies, and spent $23, question is, how many movies did he rent? So in the equation, we don't know how many movies he rented, but we do know that the membership that he paid for was $8. And then each movie is $5 to rent. So when we say 5 per each movie, that means if we rent one movie, that's 5, 2 movies will be 10, 3 would be 15. So multiplying the cost by the number of movies. He spent $23 total. So that includes the membership and a few movies for the total spend of $23. Question is, how many movies did he rent? So this problem, we can figure out the answer a few different ways. We can pay for that membership and then add 5 a few times to see how many it takes to spend $23. So 8 plus 5 would be 13. Plus 5 would be 18, plus 5 would be our total of $23. So you can say, okay, so he rented 3 movies. But this is figuring out the answer. This is not writing an equation for the problem, and the objective for today is writing an equation or translating the problem into a mathematical sentence. So I have a model here representing my story. The price per membership and the price per movie multiplied by some movies is the total of $23 or total spending. So all these words now I put in a structure that is representing a mathematical sentence, which eventually becomes equation. So our price per membership was $8 and the price per movie was 5. But then how many movies did he rent? We don't know. So for the equation purposes, we are going to use a variable. The variable is the unknown in the equation. Total spending is 23. So by using the information from the problem, now we're creating a mathematical sentence. So what happens in the story? We had a membership and plus a few movies at the price of $5 each. $5 each means multiply the number of movies that we don't know yet times the price of 5. The total, meaning the membership, and a few movies times $5 each equals the total of 23. So the question, again, in the problem is the unknown in the equation. All the other parts of the equation we know. So to write the equation, we have now 8 plus 5m equals 23. To solve the equation, we use inverse operations. And let's see if we have the same answer. Using inverse operation, we're subtracting the membership. The number of movies multiplied by the price will equal 15. So from the total 23, if you subtract the membership, that's 15. We know that each movie is $5, so we are dividing by 5 both sides. And here is your answer, 3 movies. For the question, how many movies did he rent? We say he rented 3 movies. We figured out that answer in the beginning by simply showing what happened in the problem, the membership and the number of movies for the total of 23. We had that answer, but that is not what the objective of today is. Today is writing the equation, being able to translate the problem into a mathematical sentence, which is called equation. After that, find the solution. So let's see another example. The cost to rent a car is $45 per day, plus one-time payment of $50. One-time payment is usually like a deposit. If Jen spent $275, for how many days did she rent the car? So first we have one-time payment, which is a deposit, and one time means that's the only time you pay it. It's the only $50 that you pay at first. So that is your one-time payment. And we have $45 per day. So if you rent it for one day, it's $45. The second day will be $90, and then you keep adding 45 or multiplying times the number of days. So the price per day multiplied times the number of days. The total spending was $275, but we don't know how many days did she rent the car for. So that is our unknown. How many days? We don't know. So we can use a variable, and you can use D for the number of days, or you can use X, Y, any variable or letter that you prefer. So the one-time payment is what you pay one time. That is your deposit, $50. And the price per day is $45. And we'll multiply that times the number of days. So 45 times 1, or 45 times 2, or 45 times 3. I don't know how many days yet, but I do know the total spend was $275. So translating the story into a mathematical sentence, 50, one-time payment, and plus $45 per day, $45 times the number of days, equals 275 total. After that, we have to solve the equation. So we have 50 plus 45D equals 275. Number 50 we subtract, so subtracting the deposit. And then we divide by 45. How many times does 45 go into 225? So we can go 45 plus 45, that's 90, and then 45 plus 45, it's another 90, 180 plus 45, so that will take 5 days. If you don't have a calculator, you can go 45 plus 45 plus 45 and see how many times it takes. Or either way you prefer, the number of days will be 5. So to answer, every word problem has to have a word answer. You read the question again and it says, how many days did she rent the car? So she rented the car for 5 days. Chris wants to buy a pair of Nikes, a lot of dollars here. So Chris wants to buy a pair of Nike shoes for $180. He already has $75 and he can set aside $15 each week. Maybe out of his allowance, he can save $15 a week. How many weeks will it take him to save enough money to buy the shoes? So he has $75. That is something that he can already put towards those shoes, but the shoes are $180, so he still needs to save some money to be able to buy those shoes. Looks like Chris gets an allowance and he can set aside $15 each week. How many weeks will it take him to save enough money? I don't know. So how many weeks is our unknown? We don't know how many weeks. We can figure it out, but the objective for today is knowing how to write an equation or translate the problem into a mathematical sentence. To figure out the answer, you could take 180, subtract 75, and divide by 15, but that again is not the objective of today. Today we want to know how to write an equation for a word problem. So Chris already has $75 and he's saving $15 per week for a number of weeks that we at this time don't know. It's not something given in the problem, because he wants to buy a pair of expensive shoes for $180. So he has 75 and he'll set aside $15 per week until he has $180. The question is, how many weeks will that take? So let's solve this problem. 75 plus 15W equals 180. Subtract 75. 15W will equal 105 and divide by 15. That'll be 7 weeks. So after 7 weeks of savings, he will have enough money to buy the shoes he wants. So the question is, how many weeks will he be saving for? So he will save money for 7 weeks. You can use your own words to explain the answer, but for every word problem we have to have a word answer. So he will save money for 7 weeks in order to have enough for a $180 pair of shoes. Let's see another problem. The Simons family has $1,800 to spend on vacation. So that's their budget. They plan to spend $300 each day. How many days will it take them to run out of money? In other words, if they had that budget and they're spending $300 a day, how many days do they have money for? Run out of money means the budget expires. So when you run out of money, you have 0 left. Okay, so we're gonna start with what the family has. So family has $1,800, their budget, and now we're spending, so we're going to subtract. We're gonna subtract $300 per day. So this is the price per day that they plan to spend. Maybe food or some entertainment, but that is their budgeted amount to spend per day. The question is, how many days, we don't know. So we'll use a variable. And how many days can they spend $300 a day to run out of money until their budget expires? That means zero, run out of money. So there is no more money in their budget. So how many days could they plan that vacation to be? So we have the equation now. That we can solve. So we will subtract 1,800 from 0. Negative 300 times d will be negative 1,800. Dividing by negative will give us the positive number of days. Dividing by negative 300. That will be 6 days. So how many days will it take them to run out of money according to this plan? Our answer is it will take them 6 days. To run out of money. Okay, so the problem translated in a mathematical sentence. You have a budget, you're spending means subtraction, you have a budgeted spending $300 per day, so that's multiplied by the number of days equals 0 because running out of money means have nothing. I have one more problem left for you to try, and then we'll check in class.